For coming to this week's REA meeting. We have plenty of guest speakers like always.
Here we go. Awesome.
Floor is yours.
Awesome, thank you. Hi friends, how are we?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're not awake, it's Thursday afternoon. Yes, and that's fair. But hopefully by the end of this you'll be more awake. Yes, we'll have some fun. Okay? I am Erin Scott. I am the Talent Development Manager with Advanced Management Company. We are based out of Irvine. And we are the largest privately owned management company in Southern California. So we are not nationwide. All of our communities are here in the SoCal area. So at Advanced, we start all of our meetings with an intention of the day. Okay? So just a positive quote that we start every meeting with. That's something we do, so I wanted to pass that on to you guys. So our intention of the day is if the challenge we face doesn't scare us, then it's probably not that important, right? So it's good to be fearful. It's good to be a healthy fear of the unknown and things we don't know. So that is our intention of the day. So Advanced Management Company is one of 4 companies that are together under one umbrella. Okay? So we have Advanced Real Estate Services, which I understand someone from Advanced Real Estate has come and spoken with you before. And that is our asset management company. So they are the ones who come and they purchase our properties. They find our investor groups, they fundraise the funds to buy the buildings and all of that. And then we have Advanced Management Company, which is us, and we manage 90% of Advanced Real Estate's properties. Okay, so they do have some properties that we don't manage that are smaller, but 90% of them we do. We also have our Cubed Construction Company, which is our brother company that does all our interior renovations. All of our exterior CAP projects, everything is run through them. And then we have Vertical Parking Solutions, which we'll get into in a little bit. So we have 11,650 apartment homes in Southern California, over 64 communities, okay? The 64 communities are all located within a 100-mile radius of our corporate office in Irvine. Where you can see the larger stars is where we have a more densely populated property, okay? Meaning in Anaheim, for example, we have 11 properties. So the star's a little bit bigger because we have a lot of properties there. So we set out on a mission in 1982 to raise the bar on apartment life, right? Delivering quality and sustainability and extraordinary service. We currently provide housing to VIPs, which is what we call our residents. We call them VIPs, we think they're very important to our business, in 28 cities throughout Southern California. Okay? So we were founded by Rick Julian, who founded Advanced Real Estate Services, and Frank Holloway, who founded Advanced Management Company. These 2 gentlemen were good friends. They were young, and they were in the industry. And they decided to put their heads together to create this amazing company that we get to work for. I don't have verified information on this, but I'm pretty sure it was like a hold my beer kind of situation. Like, let's see if we can do it, let's see if it works. And it did, and it's awesome. So these 2 gentlemen are the owners. They are still very involved. They still office out of our building every week. They're still out on the property, right? And they are going to come to you should you choose to get employed with us at some point. And they're going to say to you, Gilbert, how can I help you? What can I do to make your job easier? What owner asks, right? Like, let me tell you how to do your job. That's not how it works at Advance. They want to know you're on the front line. What can they do, right? So, it is, however, a family-run business. So though Frank and Rick are still very involved, you'll see them around the office, they have now passed it on to their children. So Paul Julian is now the president of Advanced Real Estate Services, and Danielle Holloway McCarthy is now the president of Advanced Management Company. So those were the founders, and these are the future, right? So they're the ones that are currently taking us to the next level and keeping us cutting edge in the industry. So at Advanced Management Company, we have a motto, which is to make coming home the best part of their day, okay? We know that especially in Southern California, buying a home is a luxury, something that not every family is able to do right away or even able to do ever. And so we know that a lot of families choose our apartments as their home. It's not transitional housing, it's not specifically for young marrieds, the way that it maybe had been in the past, right? So we really want to make coming home the best part of their day. And we do that by providing different resident events, things like that, that help to make it a fun environment for them to live, right? It's the most expensive check that people write every month, whether they own or whether they rent. It's the most expensive. So we want to make it a fun place for them to live. We do movie nights, we do fun Christmas events. We always have a gift wrapping station at every property for people to wrap their gifts. We did reverse trick-or-treating where our team dressed up and went trick-or-treating at the houses and gave out candy instead of asking for candy, things like that. So we do a lot of fun things through that. We also have an employee promise. And so we at Advanced have to recite these at every quarterly meeting because we want to make sure that our team really understands and is living by it every day, right? So our employee promise is that we believe that the success of our organization will be realized through the hard work, dedication, and enthusiasm of our team as such as we are dedicated to. We serve our VIPs with a welcoming and caring attitude. So again, we don't call them residents, we call them VIPs. We behave in a responsible, professional, and ethical manner. That includes outside of work. So if I'm wearing my AMC gear outside of work, that means that I'm representing the brand and that I'm behaving appropriately. If I go meet friends for dinner after work, I'm going to behave the way and represent the company, right? We invest in training and we nurture talent. Many of us have grown with the company. We've started at the bottom and have worked our way up into leadership, and that's what we really pride ourselves on doing. We want to promote from within. We treat each other with consideration and respect, and my favorite one is that we celebrate uniqueness and we have fun at work, right? You spend more time at work than you do with your families most of the time, yes? So we want it to be a fun place for you to enjoy it. So some of the cool things that we at Advanced do is next week is our Tribute Awards, which is like the Golden Globes. Who watched the Oscars? I'm going to make sure you're still alive. Yes. Good job. Did you enjoy it?
I didn't watch all of it, but I enjoyed what I saw.
Okay, good.
I like that comment.
Yeah, he was funny. Yeah. So that's what it's like. It's formal. You get to bring a +1. There's entertainment. There's games. There's dinner. There's free drinks. And we all have a great night. But what is super cool about this night is that you are nominated for awards by your peers. Okay, so with your peers, with the awards, you have things like Community Director of the Year, Leasing Consultant of the Year, Maintenance Supervisor of the Year, things like that. But you also have awards that have nothing to do with your position. Humanitarian of the Year, Live Happy, Best Resident Event, things like that. So there's a lot of things that you can be nominated for, and I tell you it's really cool to be nominated by your peers to win an award, right? It's nice when your boss sees that you're doing a good job, but when your peers see you're doing a good job, it gets a little bit more, right? Summer is the busiest time in property management, okay? A lot of families relocate during the summer. Kids are out of school, okay, now we can move. So we recognize that, and so one Thursday in June, we close all of our offices in the afternoon and we rent a yacht in Newport, and we go down and we celebrate on the boat, right? It's drinks, dancing, karaoke, games, fun, yay. We want to appreciate our teams because we know it's hot, right, in the summer, especially for our maintenance teams who are out working. It's hot, it's busy, and we want to show you, hey, we appreciate you, let's make it an awesome summer. To close out this summer, we do a family picnic where you can bring everybody in your family and come and hang out and have fun. Last year was a luau. And then my favorite event that we do is a health and wellness expo. So this is something that Frank and Rick are very passionate about because they want us to take care of ourselves, right? In whatever capacity that is. We firmly believe in work-life balance. Our PTO is called Live Happy Time. Like, they want you to enjoy life. They want you to enjoy working. They also want you to enjoy your life. And with that, they want us to be able to take care of things that during a regular doctor visit you might not be able to, or just on the weekends you might not be able to. You're busy, you've got life, etc. You can have at the health and wellness, you can have your hearing checked, your vision checked. You can do a bone density test. They'll check you for skin cancer. They'll do the like grabbing, how strong are you? I don't know what it's called. Test, yes. You can get a massage. You can get a chiropractor adjustment. You can get a haircut. Last year we got our eyebrows done. It was a big deal. Yes, so it's a lot of fun. And we do training classes and things like that to make it, educational and worthwhile. But knowing that your boss cares enough to allow you time on company time to get a haircut or a chiropractor adjustment, that's a big deal, y'all. So one of the things that we have at Advanced is called a charitable giving committee. I happen to be the treasurer of the charitable giving committee, and it's a fully funded organization, employee funded. So our employees have the option to donate into this on a bi-weekly paycheck basis. They can donate individually, like a one-time donation. But what we use this for is to give back to our own communities. We donated $9,000 to the California Community Wildfire Federation when the fires happened. Ownership partnered with us on getting that donation out. We do fully stuffed backpacks for kids every summer. So last year, we did 395 backpacks, fully stuffed, ready to go. And what happens with those is that the managers nominate our families to receive a backpack, right? And they'll be like, oh, Anthony in apartment 2A is 8 years old and he loves Spider-Man. And so we as a committee really try to do a good job of making sure that Anthony gets his Spider-Man backpack. So again, this is something that we partner with some vendor partnerships as well. Over the years, I've heard that we do this and they help donate. So 395 backpacks went out. The other thing was 372 full Thanksgiving dinners. So we know, you all know, that the price of things have gone up, right? Everything is more expensive. And it's been getting more expensive. And a lot of people didn't recover from COVID the way we thought they did. And now there's even more people in need. And so we, again, the managers donate. They know who on their properties need help. And this, y'all, is actually funded by our investors. This is something that they recognize the need and they donate to in addition with the employees. And so that's really cool that they even give back to their own investment to donate full Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. And it's everything from the turkey to the pie. Like, it's not like, here's a turkey, figure it out, right? Like, so it's a really cool experience. And I've been blessed to go on many of these deliveries, and people are very touched by the generosity, which is awesome. So now we're going to transition to R-Cube Construction. So R-Cube Construction, again, is our brother company. And we're going to be doing a tour of our facility on Friday, March 21st at 1:30. And I would love to invite you all. We'll talk about it more at the end. But you'll get to see where these cabinets and where this quartz are made, because it is made right in our office in Irvine. We have a huge cabinet shop in the back of our corporate office, and everything is built there. So one of the things that we really care about is sustainability. All of our wood that we use is environmentally friendly. We really try to reduce our carbon footprint. And the quartz and everything is all built right there in the back. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. This is kind of what it looks like. We also have a full warehouse. It's like a mini Home Depot. Super cool. But what's nice about it is everything that they're using in the renovations, the parts are available right there. So our VIPs are not having a huge turnaround time should something break in their apartment, right? Our guys can actually do a drive up, grab it, and go. So I'm just telling you, if this doesn't get you to come to the tour, I don't know what will. I heard there's cookies. Maybe that would be true. Yes? All right. R-Cube also handles all of our exterior renovations. So anything that's done on the property, every property has a superintendent that handles things like our pool upgrades, our cabanas, our pergolas with our picnic and party areas, our dog wash stations, any of the ping pong, pickleball, basketball, tennis courts, any of that on our properties. We have a soccer field down in Chino Hills. Any of that, they help to get those maintained, built, whatever it is. They contract all of our roofing, all of our asphalt, all of that. Yes, so none of that falls onto our property managers, which is nice. It really takes a lot of the lift off. They coincide all together. Again, we talk about the sustainability. We at Advance are paperless. We do all of our paperwork online. We really try not to print anything. All of our contracts and everything like that goes through an online system. We use a product under all of our sinks called Starboard. So Starboard is a product that's used on boats. It is water resistant and it doesn't absorb any moisture. So you've all either lived someplace that looks like it's had a leak or have had a leak yourself. It's the garbage disposal, the P-trap fails, things like that. And you see like the black marks on the wood underneath your sinks. That's because the moisture's gotten in there and it started to rot that wood. This doesn't allow that. It's kind of almost like a fiberglassy type material called Starboard, and we put it in all of our apartments. So we don't have to do any of the wood wrap. We also have Nest thermostats that help with that. We have things that aren't cool for a PowerPoint presentation, I'll be honest. Low-flow toilets, shower stems, right? Things in our faucets, electric, motion sensor lighting, like those don't make a cool presentation. So sorry, I'll just tell you about them. Yes? Great. All right. And then the last part of our 4-part series is VPS. So Vertical Parking Solutions is something that we became the West Coast distributor of and now have part ownership in. And it is something that is really cool because most of our communities were built in the 1960s. And in the 1960s, early 1960s specifically, families had one car, if that. Yes? Very rarely did anybody have more than one car. So the properties are zoned for one car. No one thought about the future. Everyone should know right now. Yes? So we have a lot of communities that have one car space designated to an apartment, and then you maybe have 20 additional parking spaces. Well, that's not enough. When you have a family of 4 adults living together, 9 times out of 10 you have 4 cars, right? So you say, I'm sorry, you can only have 1 car on the property. People do not want to live there. So we put in these parking lists, and how it works, it is designated to your apartment, so you're not sharing with a stranger. And you pull your car onto that ramp, you get out, you turn a key, you press a button, it raises the ramp, and then you can park another car underneath it. So it's a really cool feature, and something that has really helped at a lot of our properties with the parking issue. Parking is an issue at any property built prior to 1988 when the laws changed. Yes? So, this is the last of our 4-part series. So, AMC and our cubed construction, we are 518 employees and growing. We are always hiring new talent. We are always acquiring new buildings. We were voted a top workplace in 2024 by both Orange County Register and USA Today. We're super excited about USA Today. We've received top workplace with Orange County Register several years, but this was the first year that we made it with USA Today, so that is huge. Our offices consist of a community director at every property. Every property over 16 units in California has to have a community director on site. Some of our properties you would find an assistant community director. You will most likely find a leasing consultant, and then some of our larger properties have what we call resident services. Okay? Our service teams, you'll find a service director at every property. Some of our properties you'll find service technicians. Our larger properties, you have a junior service tech, which is essentially a half groundskeeper, half service tech. It's like a service tech in training, right? And then we have our groundskeepers who keep our properties clean. They're the most important. Be nice to them. If you live in an apartment, be nice to the people who clean your property. Yes? All right. So let's talk a little bit about my journey, right? Like, who are you? Who are you to come talk? So I started with Advance. It will be 15 years in November. And I started, look at this girl, Erin Lynn, circa 2010. Erin Lynn, circa 2010, was teaching dance. I grew up as a tap dancer. And it was coming out of the 2008 market crash. Okay? People were really tight on money. They were not enjoying sending their kids for extra things. The studios I was working at were struggling, and I was like, I don't know. I also was working at Borders Books as the head of the children's department, who, if you know, which you probably don't, because you guys were like 5 in 2010, weren't you? That's really sad, okay. But Borders Books went out of business in 2010 nationwide. So Erin Lynn, who was about to be 30, was like, I need a job, right? I'm gonna be 30, I need a job. Like, I will do anything at this point. I just need steady income. So I was hired as a leasing consultant at Highland Pine Tree Apartments here in Fullerton. Okay, 320 apartment homes. I walked in ready to go, and wow, yes, wow, leasing is a whole different beast, y'all. Has anybody had any experience in leasing? In leasing residential? Yeah? It's a whole different beast, right? So when you're when you're in residential real estate, okay, I'm not as familiar with commercial, we don't deal with commercial, but residential real estate, you have people who are going to live in a home long term, right? They have like these must-haves and these deal breakers. When you have people looking for an apartment, it's more transitional. Even like myself, who grew up in apartments, we never lived in the same apartment more than like 4 years. Like we were upsizing, downsizing. Like as people were moving in and moving out, it was never the same. So it wasn't as like, I have to have this, right? I'll give you an example, like a washer and dryer. You have people who are like, oh, I have to have a washer and dryer. Okay, so you take them to the apartment, they fall in love with it, and then you're like, the laundry room's right outside. So it's not in your house, but it's right outside, and they'll take it. Where like if you have a home that's like that, it's more of a deal breaker, right? Because it's long term. So I learned a lot very quickly in leasing. Leasing, you have people who come in, like a young couple. How many who have seen the movie Enchanted? Okay, Hallmark? Any rom-com, work with me, y'all. Yes, we've seen a love story, we're familiar. Anybody currently in love? Yes? Okay, all right, we'll take it. All right, so you're currently in love, you're mostly guys, so you're with your girlfriend, you're so excited, oh my God, your parents are there, her parents are there, you're moving into the first place, like there are hearts and roses and love songs playing, right? And you as a leasing consultant, you're so excited because everybody's happy, right? Everybody's happy and this is a good sale and you're gonna get your $250 leasing commission and you're gonna kill it, right? Okay, the next person who walks through the door, you send them off, great, I'll see you at move-in day. The next person who walks through the door is a single dad who has to go to court and show that he has a place in good enough condition that his kids can come to on the weekend. And so his mood and his demeanor and his needs are very different, right? And you have to be able to adapt to that, like in minutes, right? Because literally they have crossed paths in the parking lot. And now it's a whole different view. So I learned to be very empathetic because everybody is going through something and everybody's story is different as to why they're coming to live in your place. So I was there probably for 6 months, okay? And then shortly before I started with Advance, Beachwood Apartments in Anaheim, it's 101 units, had a fire, okay? As things happen, a young lady was burning a candle in her bathroom and it caught the towel on fire. Completely took 1 unit, but ended up taking out 20 total units in water, smoke, and fire damage, okay? So RQ Construction came in, did a full rehab, and they said, we're gonna send Erin Lynn over there to lease the fire units. That's what we called them. I don't think it's PC now to call them the fire units, but that's what we called them at the time. And so I went over there, and I would like to share with you all that I could lease really well because I was really good at talking and getting the story and building the relationship. And then it would come time for me to ask them for the deposit, which we had to take a deposit at the time, like a holding deposit. And I was like, okay, you let me know. You call me, I will call you, you call me. I wasn't very good, okay? I was good enough, and I got better as my career grew, but I wasn't very good. But I had a regional, and this is why I 100% echo Greg's sentiment about mentorship, because I had a regional who saw something in me, and she was like, this girl can move paperwork like nobody I've seen. And so they actually created a position where I became the assistant community director of 6 properties at one time, which was something Advanced had never had. It's not something I recommend for your average human being. Because there's 6 properties and how many working days in a week?
I don't know.
5 is the answer. Yeah, 5. 6 minus, yeah, so 5. 7 minus 2 weekend days. We good? Are we? I heard there's pizza coming, y'all. Hang with me. Okay? There's pizza coming. I heard a rumor. So with 6 properties and 5 working days, I was 9 times out of 10 in more places in a day than not, right? I was adaptable. My regional would call me in the morning and say, so-and-so called out sick at the Lisserana, can you go cover? Yes, absolutely, no problem. It's not for everyone, but I will tell you, in any sort of real estate, being adaptable, being open to change, being flexible is really going to help you. If you are like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, oh my God, I'm overstimulated, oh my God, I can't do it, it's not going to go well, yes? Being able to just, okay, now we're doing this, great, got it. Okay, now we're doing this, great, got it, yes? You have to be able to change those hats. And that was something that I am a freaking introvert, I don't know. I'm not trying to brag, but it's something I can do. So after a year, I ended up as the community director of Summerwood Apartments in La Habra. 98 apartment homes, y'all, this is still my baby. Like, I would move back there in a heartbeat, okay? But when they put me here, I am 32. You can do the math. I am 32, and I am single, and it is drug and gang infested. And I remember on the first night being like, dear God, who sent the 32-year-old single woman to this property? Like, what? But I had to make a decision at that point. I had to make a decision of, do I call Rick and Frank and say, sorry, you got the wrong girl, I can't do this? Or do I buck up and show I can do it, not only to myself, but to them, right? And that's what I did. And I will tell you that this was 2012 when I took over. And in 2014, this property won Property of the Year, and my entire staff won our respective positions of the year, community director, service director, etc. We turned it around to an award-winning property. We dug in, we worked together, we made it happen. Yeah, so again, this is my baby. I have a tree dedicated to me in this property, all right? It's an amazing property. So in 2015, I promoted to Summercrest. Now, if you were paying attention earlier, I was an assistant community director at Summercrest. It was one of the 6 properties. So I knew this property. It was a very big learning experience for me. Yes, it taught me a lot. There are a lot of rules in Anaheim that you don't know until your code enforcement shows up and you're like, well, hello. Nice to see you again, sir. Yes, we'll take care of that. Thank you. I was on a first name basis with code enforcement, but I learned so much, and I took it as a learning opportunity. But I also learned at this point that I was not a community director for life. That was not my goal. I learned that this was not what I wanted to do on site for the rest of my life. I wanted to grow. I wanted to become a regional, okay? So in 2016, they created a position at Advanced Management Company called a regional administrator. It was an admin assistant to the 4 regionals at the time, and I used it as a stepping stone. I was like, I'm going to go, I'm going to soak it up, I'm going to get all the information I can. I did, and a year in, I was like, I don't think I want to be a regional. I don't think that's for me. I like to be the fun one. I don't know if you can tell by my outfit. I like to be the fun one. I like to be the one that comes and tells you what a great job you're doing. I usually bring you chips. Or we fill out favorite things on our first day. I always bring you your favorite things when I meet with you. I like to be the one who turns the music up in the office and makes it a great time. I don't like to be the one that's telling you you're doing it wrong and giving you corrective action. And that's, part of our regional's job. They get to be the fun one sometimes too, but they also have to deal with the crabby residents. Oh my God. I like to be the fun one. You're welcome. So I was a regional administrator until we grew more. And then I became a regional property coordinator, which is essentially what I was doing with more responsibility. But what I loved about being a regional property coordinator was I got to work with the asset management side a lot more. We have, since I came into the corporate office, taken over 20 apartment communities. We took over 7 in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. We bought 7 properties that year. And I get to play quarterback. That's still my job today. Even as a talent development manager, I still get to play quarterback. On takeover day, I still get to lead the team, guide the team, make sure all the moving parts are together, making sure everything's handled on our checklist that we have for takeover day. I do all the due diligence walks, things like that. I get to go and I get to learn from all sides. So I loved being a regional property coordinator. But in spring of 2024, the president of the company sat me down and said, what do you want to do in the company? You're ready for more. What do you want to do? And what I wanted to do along the mentorship lines is pay it forward. I've had a lot of people in my time with Advance so far that have poured into me, that have trained me, that have sat with me, that have given me information that I may not have gotten under other leadership. I may not have, done it if I hadn't paid attention, if I hadn't been hungry, if I hadn't asked. And so I wanted to pay that forward to our current team members. So in 2024, I became the talent development manager. What is that, right? What is a talent development manager? I see every person who is hired by our company either in a first or second interview. I'm on one or the other to make sure that we're hiring, associates. We hire to retire. That's really what we want to do. We want to build long-term relationships. We're long-term shareholders with our investors. We want long-term employees who are going to stay with us. And so I am part of that. I stay with them throughout their first year. I do a 6-month checkup face-to-face with every employee. Make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're hitting all the marks. Are they happy? Are they learning? Do they have questions? What can we help with? And then I also meet with our current associates in a career growth pathway. So what do you want to do in the company? How can I help you get there? What steps can I take in helping you find a mentor, be your mentor, whatever that works. So it's an awesome position. I love it. I get to be the fun one. I get to go bring the chips. It's the best. So I want to invite you that if at some point in your journey you're like, hey, I remember that girl talked about property management. I want to invite you to come join our team at some point if you'd like. It's an awesome organization to work for. We do work with college students. We have a lot of college students who are paying their way through school and working full-time, who split their days off, go to school Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, etc. So I want to invite you to, if you're looking, come check us out. It's a great place to work. You can apply online at amcliving.com/careers. And again, come and join if you're not sure. You're like, I don't know, there were no cookies today. I heard there are going to be cookies on the 21st. Come to the tour. Come see our corporate office. Come see our training center that we've built. Come see the cabinet shop and the warehouse and learn a little bit more about our investment side, things like that. So we're going to have all of that available to you guys. And then do we have any questions? Yes.
When you have the 4 companies, do they all solely support each other, or do you manage properties outside of the original ownership one, or like the people that build the carports, do you build them strictly for your places, or is it an open market?
No, it's open market for the cars. R-Cubed, about 10% of their income is outside of Advance, but 90% is through Advanced Properties. And then Advanced Management Company, I would say, manages about the same, about 90% of Advanced Real Estate properties. They do have some properties that they own that don't require management. Yeah, great question. Anyone else? Yeah.
What do you think the main factor was for turning around that Summerwood property you were talking about?
Honestly, the manager that was there prior to me, her grandson was living there, and we ended up parting ways with her. Her grandson was living there and involved in a lot of the activity, and so it's really hard in anything when you're not following the rules to get other people to follow the rules. And so I think just somebody being diligent about, enforcing the rules and being tough but fair. You know, I mean, it is their home, but there are rules in place for a reason. And so making sure that that's what you're doing, is just staying consistent. So, yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
Where do you guys get your capital to purchase all these properties, like the 7 you purchased during COVID?
So all of it is done through fundraising, and there'll be more talked about that at the tour, because that's not 100% my wheelhouse. So, but it is done through our investor partnerships. And from what I understand, our investors are everyday people. They're teachers, they're doctors, they're nurses. They're not, you know, multi-million-dollar people. They're, you know, your parents, you eventually, things like that that are going to, you know, are able to invest in to these partnerships, and then the partnerships purchase the buildings. Yes.
You guys primarily do multifamily and apartments, or do you also do single family and commercial?
We do, yeah, that's a great question. So we do primarily multifamily. We do have some retail in some of our apartment communities, but we don't do any single family homes, and we typically don't do commercial. So only the retail in our places. Questions? No? Awesome. Well, you guys have been awesome to talk to. I appreciate you guys coming out. I know it's, yes?
You had mentioned Anaheim had like some weird strict rules. What were just like some of the things that you had encountered?
The strangest one that I encountered is you can't charge for parking in Anaheim. It's illegal. However, with our car lifts, you can charge for the airspace. Yeah, you can't charge for the ground, but you can charge for the airspace. So we can't, if you were just to park your car there, I can't charge you. I have to attach it to an apartment, which is how we do it. We attach it with an amenity code. But for the lifts, I can't charge you to park on the ground, but I can charge you to park in the air. Who knew, right? That seems like who sat in a room and decided you can't park in the air, but you can, and you can be charged for it. So yeah.
For those car lifts, I assume you charge parking spaces for all of those. Is it at a premium or just like at the regular charge base?
So typically our extra parking spaces run anywhere from 50 to 100 depending on the need at the property. Obviously, if there's a big need for them, you can get a little bit more money. Parking lots usually run about at 175, but you're getting the 2 parking spaces, so.
Cover your expenditures for a day.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
Are you guys like currently privately owned, or are you guys planning to start like IPO or like?
No, we are 100% privately owned. We're actually the largest privately owned management company in Southern California. And as far as I know, the plan is to stay that way, yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes.
You might have explained this earlier, but
Sure.
like, how many facilities is you guys at like complexes?
64.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 64 communities. Yeah, 28 cities, and it's 11,640 units.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. Yes.
I'm just curious, on the cost of the carports, what's the ROI of like that, getting 175 a month on it?
That's a really great question. I'm not 100% certain. I can find out though. If you email me, and this is my contact information, please feel free to reach out with any questions, anything you have. I can definitely, if you send me an email, I will get that information for you. Yes?
Are there any plans for expansion as far as like out of state or just like up north from California and things like that? Or you guys kind of just either if you do expand, it's going to be more Southern California property?
Yeah, we mostly Southern California. We did expand into Los Angeles. We actually bought a property in downtown Los Angeles August 30th of last year. Previously, the furthest north we had is Montebello. For our business practice, it really works with everything being so, you know, centralized and how we like to do business. It works for us to be localized. I don't know that San Diego may be not out of the question in the future, because that's still a little, we're in Irvine.
Right.
So that would be a little bit more doable, but not anything past
So
that.
to piggyback off of that, how has the Los Angeles location done compared to like the other ones? If you know, from a-
Yeah, the Los Angeles one in full transparency is a beast, I'll be honest. For a couple different reasons. Number one, it's a different business model than what we're used to. Our business model is typically to buy D buildings, do a full renovation with our construction company and make it a high B building. The building in downtown LA was an A building going in, and so trying to get the rents, we are literally in downtown LA, 50% of the property overlooks the 110 freeway, so that's just been a different beast. Also, the city of LA has a lot of tenant rights that are, there's a lot of red tape to cut through to get things done. So it's been a big learning experience for all of us. I actually get to go spend the day out there on Tuesday, and I'm excited to be back there full time to see, you know, how it's gone. But it's just a different market for us. Yeah. Anyone else? Am I gonna see you guys on the 21st?
Yes.
There's cookies.
So we need to give them sort of an estimate of how many people are going to go on the 21st. I actually have done this tour before, and you will learn so much about managing a property in this tour. It's amazing. If you ever want to own any type of real estate, your own house, especially if you want to own investment property, whether it's multifamily, commercial, you will learn a ton, and you will see all kinds of very subtle but very valuable things about managing a property that you don't think about until all of a sudden they explain to you the reason they use that white floorboard, and you'll notice that they have a little hole at the front. That's so if the faucets leak, the water goes out actually into the kitchen, not into the back of where it destroys the stuff in the back, and you have to replace walls and do everything else, and it makes maintenance so much more efficient. You will learn a ton of little details if you sign up to go this. It's going to be from 1:30 to about 3 o'clock. Also, they will talk about how they do this. They take money from investors to buy these buildings. And then the investors get returns on that money that are very good. So if you're thinking about, you know, how do I invest without having to do management, but I want the best management team out there to run my property, you'll learn a lot about that. I also would encourage you to invite your parents if they have ever thought about investing in multifamily properties. They will learn a lot. I've invited the board of directors for the Center of Real Estate to come and attend this as well. And if you're in any of my classes, you know you get extra credit for attending. So
Extra
it's
credit
well
and
worth
a
watching.
cookie?
Extra credit and cookies.
I mean, I can even up the snacks. What would get you all there? Come on, let's be honest. This is a safe space. Look. I can't get behind boba. I'm sorry, it's a personal thing. It's a texture thing. Finger sandwiches? I can probably get you some sandwiches. It's 1:30. I can probably work out some sandwiches. Sandwiches and cookies. And your parents. And extra credit. I mean, why are we not like signing up right now?
So if you plan on attending, please notify me, Gilbert, somebody, so we can put together a list of people, so we can give them a number here in a week or so of how many people are coming.
Yeah.
And thank you guys all for attending. I promise the 21st, I know it's a Friday, you will learn a lot, and it'll blow your mind what they actually do. It's an amazing facility to actually see in action.
Absolutely. And we're right across from the new Brass Pro Shop. We're right across the 5 freeway from Irvine Spectrum, so you can make an afternoon of it. Come down, get your extra credit, get your cookie, get your sandwich, and then go hang out and ride the Ferris wheel and have fun. Yeah? Awesome job, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
It's been
very much.
awesome.